Yeah. Waiting for the Caribbean sign, Pacific sign. Quite an amazing construction.
The worst patient in the world.
Incredible.
4 rounds of the it is very brutal, and you've got to deal with all the MS symptoms as well as all the really uncomfortable bruising. So I don't know if I've got to be positive, because today is my first intrathecal. It's coming up in a couple of hours. So that's when somebody else's umbilical stem cells are going into my spine. I don't want anybody to think that it's a breeze. It's not a breeze. It's not terrible, but it's not a breeze. I'm not used to invasive doctor procedures. That's probably what a lot of the problem is.
And she's a big coward.
And I'm not used to taking lots of painkillers, which I need. And it was kind of amusing, because I did the same when I had my daughter. I kept saying, I don't want the epidural, I don't need it. And then I'm hanging off the bed about 9 hours into the labour, screaming, and I was like, the doctor said to me, do you want an epidural? And I'm like, we were on the 6th floor.
Jewish birth.
And I said I've got a choice. Either you give me the epidural or I'm jumping. I mean, that was like my choice. And then before the operation yesterday, I said, I want mild, don't give me any painkillers. I said, I just really need it to be as mild as I can cope with, because I'm very sensitive to drugs. I said it once, I said it a dozen times. And then when I woke up from the operation yesterday, and I found I could move my feet and wiggle my toes and move my legs, so obviously, because that's my big fear, that I'm not going to be able to feel my legs when I wake up from anybody being invasive with drugs. But as soon as I could feel that there's nothing wrong with my legs, I could move
two intravenous.
I started screaming, give me some painkillers, and they said, but you said don't give you too much. And I said, well, I lied, give me, I need more.
So one will be the 2 last days, Wednesday and Friday the other week. We will give you the intravenous in the same day.
Oh, I see, okay. And then that's the day I fly.
You fly Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Will that be alright?
We will prefer if you stay until Saturday.
But anyway, I booked to go 7 o'clock that night.
We will do the intrathecal at noon, maybe at 2 in the afternoon. So
does it take a lot out of you? Does it make you tired?
Sometimes there's people that have some mild headaches associated. That can happen. That's why we prefer it that day you stay, try to rest a little bit.
They didn't say anything, because
maybe change your flight for a day later.
when I spoke to the only person I spoke to, I think, was that Richard.
Yeah.
And he said to me that all the intrathecal and all the what?
In the lumbar,
in the arm and in the lumbar. He said the lumbar was 1 day and the arm was 2 days, but that's not true. So it's 5
intrathecal.
5 in the lumbar.
Yeah, and 2 intravenous.
2 in the arm.
Yes, here in the base.
Here in the arm. Okay.
And actually, it's very simple. This is a very easy procedure, but some people are more sensitive than others.
No, sure.
I'm sure you had a spinal tap.
Can I tell you when I had my 1983? That was my last spinal tap.
And how it was?
Terrible. I was terrible. Didn't get out of bed.
But this is not the same. You're not taking out, you're putting in.
Taking out cerebral spinal fluid.
We're not taking anything out, and that is the thing that causes the most of the problem.
Yes,
because
exactly.
once you take the fluid out, the problem is that to change pressure.
Yeah.
And that is what causes the nausea and the headaches. What we do, the anesthesiologist will numb the area with local anesthesia, and she will put the spinal needle, but she won't let any fluid come out. She will inject the few amount of the stem cells usually we use like 2 milliliters or something. It's a very tiny amount. And so far we haven't had any problems. People just walk away feeling very well. But just for precaution, we prepare it that day. It's like not to do that much.
So this is the morning after the removal of the stem cells, and this is the incision point. It's covered with a sort of, it's almost like a cling film, and it's a tiny incision area, and she'll go today and they'll probably remove this covering and just add more antibiotic to the exterior, which is what the fluid you can see is. That cells from, you can see here, and a little tiny area there. That was the area that they, because she hasn't got much fat on her, that was the area that they considered would be the most productive. Funnily enough, the less fat you have, the higher the concentration of stem cells. Quite bruised, but not that much. The amount that they take was very small. This is not like a full liposuction or anything like that. And the discomfort today is much
still in the wheelchair, still on my stick.
And Jackie's moving quite well.
Say we had a bit of
She had her first infusion yesterday. She thinks it's instant.
Yesterday. No, you think it's instant. You expected to see me dance.
No, I didn't.
He just go home tomorrow, so I don't think it's going to see a great deal of improvement. I can't go home now until Monday, instead of leaving on Friday week, which we thought. I've got 2 infusions on the Friday afternoon, so I was going to fly Saturday, but you can't get a flight.